The world is made of the known, the unknown, and the hitherto unknown. The British are a race of men obsessed with knowing the unknown. It was they who ventured into the heart of Africa to see what they could find, to make the unknown known. They sought to be the first men to reach the South Pole, to find the Northwest Passage, to map the interior of Australia, to find the lost city of Zed. It was Mallory who wanted to climb Mount Everest because it was there. Not all pursuits were geographical. The British have long battled the unknown in astronomy, engineering, chemistry, philosophy, metallurgy, politics, warfare, and medicine, among others. I will focus on the pursuit of speed. How fast can a man move? How hard can he push man and machine? There is only one way to find out, and for a time it was British men who led the way into the unknown. The men were Campbell, Malcolm and Donald, among others. The machine was Bluebird, among others. Malcolm Campbell was born in 1885. In 1924, aged 39, older than a typical modern Grand Prix racer, he broke the land speed record for the first time out of a total of 9. His speed was 146.16 miles per hour. The previous record, held by another Britisher, was 145.9 miles an hour. The next year, Malcolm broke his own record, passing 150 miles an hour and being the first man to do so. 2 more British men broke the record after that before Malcolm took it back in 1927 with Bluebird. A month later, Britisher Henry Seagrave took the record, but Malcolm and Bluebird won it back in 1928. From 1931 to 35, Malcolm and Bluebird broke the record 5 times in succession. The duo became the first to exceed 300 miles an hour. Each subsequent land speed record up to 1964 was broken by a British man. The man in 1964 was Donald Campbell, and his machine was Bluebird. Donald and Bluebird were the last of the old school. Every record since has been held by a jet or rocket car. Donald's speed was 403.1 miles an hour in extremely unfavorable conditions. From 1924 to 1964, all but 2 of the men who broke the land speed record were British. British men, British courage, and British engineering had shown the world what could be done. Even today, the record is still held by the British since 1997. The Campbells and Bluebird did not confine themselves to land. In 1937, fresh from his 5 in a row on land, Malcolm gave the water speed record a go. The title had been contested by the Americans and British, with Henry Seagrave giving his life to the cause in 1930. The record had stood since 1932 at 124.86 miles an hour. Malcolm coolly set the bar at 126.3 miles an hour, but he was not satisfied. The next day he tried again and reached 129.5 miles an hour. A year later he reached 130.9 miles an hour. This was no good at all, so he had a new Bluebird designed, and in 1939 delivered 141.7 miles an hour. He was now 54 years old. This would be the last record set by Malcolm and Bluebird. Donald Campbell and Bluebird would lead the world into the unknown of water speeds after the war, learning from the fatal accident of yet another Britisher, John Cobb, in 1952. Donald and Bluebird passed 202 miles per hour and then 216 miles per hour, both in 1955. For each remaining year of the 1950s, Donald and Bluebird would break the record yet again. By 1959, the record was 260 miles per hour. In true British fashion, 6 records did not satisfy, and in 1964, the same year that he broke the land speed record, Donald rode Bluebird to 276.33 miles an hour. 300 miles an hour was within Donald's grasp, and in 1967 it seemed that he would seize it. His first run gave a speed of 295.3 miles an hour. If his return run could be fast enough, then his average speed would surpass 300. Bluebird was lighter now, having used up some fuel on the first run, so it was bound to be quicker this time. But, as was the fate of so many British men battling the unknown, from Captain Scott reaching the pole just too late, to Mallory vanishing within 800 feet of the summit of Everest, to Franklin's expedition getting trapped in the ice, Donald would die in pursuit of his goal. Just 400 meters short of the finish line, Bluebird left the surface of the water and crashed down again, killing Donald. From 1937 to 1964, the water speed record was broken 13 times, 4 by Malcolm, 7 by Donald, and 2 by American Stanley Sayers. Since 1964, only 2 men have set new records, the last being Australian Ken Warby in 1978, with a speed of 317.6 miles an hour. The British added 150 miles an hour to the water speed records and 257 miles an hour to the land speed records. Along the way, they pioneered new boat and car designs and demonstrated the excellence of the British people. Tenacity, courage, optimism, ingenuity, and the ceaseless thirst for perfection. The Campbells held the records time after time, but broke them anyway, rather than be satisfied with being the best. Why be the best when you could be even better? The British have been the best at many things from time to time, and from 1924 to 1964 they were the best at speed. The Campbells were the products of their people and culture, and no other people or culture produced anything like them. These were your men, your history. Be proud of them, and know that in the heart of every British man is the same capacity to lead the world in one way or another.